Hey everybody, how's it? Aloha, good morning. This is Geebz, your old composer here at the Decomposer Lounge on a Monday morning. Oh, sorry, that sucked. I hit the record button, I just go, you know. Try to be as authentic as possible. Anyhow, I'm doing a very new band for my channel. This is called Woods of Ypres. I looked up the name and I think they said the E, it's an Ypres, I believe. And from Canada, this is doom metal. Once again, with all the genres here, I still get a little confused with, you know, why these genres are nicknamed the way they are. Not nicknamed, named the way they are. I heard something once that there was something called mall deathcore, just because somebody sang a lyric, it changed the fact that it wasn't quite deathcore, but they named it that way. So, you know, if you wouldn't mind, for those of you in the know, maybe give me a good description on when doomcore started, or what the basis of that is. I mean, I could always look it up, but I learn more from you guys than I do when I try to look it up on the internet, on the Wikipedia. Anyhow, Woods of Ypres, and the name of the song is Alternate Ending. So let's do this. All right.
Was there anyone to share in your joy? I woke up one day and realized it was already over. Back on the highway, under the moon, my final moment. Still wondering about you. In the end, was there anyone to share in your joy? I woke up for years without you, to realize it was already over for me.
Wow. Okay. I don't know, since I've never heard of the band before, if that is the way the singer is throughout the whole discography. Two things about that. It lends such a unique twist to the performance of the song for me. The tone of his voice, the way he's kind of laboring through it. It sounds great. It's one of the trickiest things to mix, I believe, in my little itty bitty attempts on doing mixing on songs with singers and stuff during my career as a composer. I think the lower voices in mixes, especially of I think I understand what the doom metal thing is. It's very kind of laborious and very pushing forward and like very Monday morning. I'm sorry to put it that way, like, oh shit, I'm getting up again. But the thing is about the low voices is that it can get lost in the tones in a band, you know, and a low voice typically is not super, unless it's the growling, which is very unique. The growling and the yelling techniques and the screamo techniques also a lot of times are at a very low level, but because of the tone of the screaming and that sort of stuff, it adds a fry to it, right? In this case, it's very down here. Sorry, I can't do it. So it's a very unique challenge to mix that. The music, like I said, is very kind of like going uphill, you know, in a downhill wind kind of a thing, kind of a vibe to it. Nice long chords that sing out and set up that ambience and stuff. But right now, I'm sorry, I haven't really. I'm going to listen to more of the music now that going forward. But because I was totally enamored by the voice, in the sound. And then what's that other band? The guy has another voice. Typo Negative. I believe that's the guy. It's that thing. And I'm maybe they're in the same genre too. You guys tell me that. All right, let me go back a little bit.
Now making amendments to the story and changing the ending as I would like it to be. We were together in a memory, and we live forever in finality, holding on to a dream. When the end couldn't come slow enough for me. Holding on, holding on, holding on. Holding on, holding on, holding on, holding on.
You know, that last like 15, 18 seconds where he's saying holding on and stuff, that's a really good example of, for me, of the thought process of understanding. Because remember, the first time I'm hearing the band, so I'm going to just assume, just because I've heard this, that this is how the performance of the band is with him down in this lower register. Though there was harmonies there, but it was, even that harmony seemed to have been more set back and mellow, not a glassy sounding, harmony that was higher than his voice. But if you had that last 20 seconds, you had the string pad that comes from the keyboard. That's very high and crispy and kind of sizzly. Then you have the piano, which I failed to, address at my first stop because I was stuck listening to his voice. And you have that piano and stuff, so you have this tone range. It's all squared off, right? The high sizzling string, the piano, but the piano has a little bit more of a bitier velocity, because they're playing it and stuff like that. Hammers hitting the string, kind of a thing. But his voice is very, there's laid back down here. So that's all really covered so well. I also was able to hear some of the lyrics. It's kind of an intense thing when the living in the memories thing, and sometimes cycling through that whole thing could also be kind of dark and heavy. And I think I'm beginning to assemble if this is a really good example of Doom, that it is very heavy, very laborious, very but not hardcore. This could be probably a really good example about it, is that not every type of metal has to be fast and grindy and super powerfully riffy and stuff like that. This is just laid back and like, my world, kind of jeez, So anyhow, that was my takeaway of it. As far as musicianship and structure and everything like that, it's just sounded great. I think it was a perfect Monday morning if you're waking up going, But yeah, that's my thing. And was it the Typo Negative band that the singer also has that very deep tone? But you know what? I think I need to ask you guys. Tell me a little bit more about this genre, because I mean, like I said, I could look at Wikipedia, and then I found another thing called Metallum or something, Metal Archives, and you know they say that how many they put out 4 full lengths and a couple of singles, and it looks like the lead member or the founding member, Mr. David Gold, had passed away in 2011, and it looks like that's when the band ended. So yeah. Anyhow, so please, thank you. Tell me a little bit more about this doomcore, and I'll be coming back to you with more of this. I kind of dug it. A new experience for me. All right, guys, take care. Have a killer day. Aloha.
All right.